Hello everyone, in this video we are going to talk about carboxylic acid, how to name it. When we talk about carboxylic acid, this is our functional group, carboxylic acid group, and this group holds the highest priority as a functional group, meaning if you see this group on a molecule, that molecule is carboxylic acid as a parent name. So how to name it? The first scenario we are going to look at it is one is in a linear or acyclic chain. For example, something like this. So what we are going to do here is we are going to drop the E of the butane. Here we have 4 carbons right here. Drop this E to add as oleic acid. So for this certain example, what we have here is 4 carbons. The first carbon will be this carbon right here. So we will have 1, 2, 3, 4. And we have butanoic acid. So that is how we name the acyclic carboxylic acid. If we have some other functional group, for example, we have some methyl group right here, then how to number it? The carboxylic acid carbon always get 1, so 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So for this case, what we have here is 4 dimethyl, and it has 6 carbons, so 6 carbon is hexane, so hexanoic acid. Now we are going to look at another scenario. What if we have a carboxylic acid in this molecule, and at the same time, we are also having some other functional group? For example, this molecule right here, what we have on the one side is carboxylic acid. We also have carbon-oxygen double bond, which is not directly connected to OH, but it's isolated, so that is a ketone. And we have OH group that is our alcohol functional groups. So how to name this? Carboxylic acid, this functional group has the highest priority. So whatever we see here is a carboxylic acid. Then the other functional group will be as a substituent. So for substituent for this ketone right here, we call it oxo group. And then OH group, we have hydroxy group. So now we are going to put all this functional group as a substituent inside this naming. And for naming carboxylic acid, the carbon belong to that carbon-oxygen double bond in the carboxylic acid will be 1, always be 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So now what we have here is we have at 6 we have a hydroxy group, and on 5 we have oxo, and tell us that's a ketone, and then we have 6 carbon in total, so it's hexanoic acid. So that is how we name a acyclic carboxylic acid. So the next scenario is when you have a carboxylic acid group on a ring. For example, this one right here with a methyl group. Maybe let's put 2 methyl groups there. And how to name this? So for a carboxylic acid functional group direct connect to a ring, we will just call it carboxylic acid to begin with. And then we are going to tell the audience what the ring connects to this carboxylic acid group. So here we have a cyclohexane. So we will have just call it cyclohexane. Okay, full name as that ring. And now we are going to include the substitute on the ring. So substitute, the carboxylic acid always get the first. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have 3 dimethyl to tell the substitute on the ring, and followed by the parent name of cyclohexane carboxylic acid. So that is how we name this type of carboxylic acid. The next one is some common names. We're going to talk about some common names. For example, the first one is this molecule right here. On one side, we have the hydrogen, and on the other side is our carboxylic acid group. So this part right here have a common name called form. So this is formic acid. Next one, we are going to swap this hydrogen with a methyl group. So only by looking at this group right here is acetyl group. So we will call it acetic acid. Okay, so all this common name end up with ic acid. And then the next one, we are going to include a ethyl group. So this one called propionic acid. And the next one is when you have 4 carbons, it's called butyric acid. The last one is something you do need to know. This one is with benzene. This is benzoic acid. The last scenario we are going to look at is when you have diacid, meaning on this molecule you will have 2 carboxylic acid group. For example, something look like this. So in this molecule we have 2 carboxylic acid group, so we'll call it dioic acid. Oic acid is for the carboxylic acid, that means 2, so it's showing you there are 2 carboxylic acid group. And then in the front, what we are going to include is how many carbons in total in this chain. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 carbons, we are going to put 5 carbon as alkene. So it's pentane dioic acid. So that is the IUPAC name for the diacids. And for the organic chemistry, we do need to know some of the common name for the diacid. The first one is when you have only 2 carbons. So this 2 carboxylic acid functional group right next to each other. This is called oxalic acid. This is a common name. And then the next one is when we have 3 carbons in total. So this one called malonic acid. This acid is pretty crazy and it has a very unique chemical properties. And the last one is when you have 4 carbons. Okay, and if you want zigzag that, you're welcome to do so as well. 4 carbons, and this is called succinic acid. You do need to be familiar with the number of the carbon with the common name of these diacids. And then the next one, when you have 5 carbons, it's called glutaric acid. 6 carbons and called adipic acid. And 7 carbons, you have pimalic acid. So how to memorize this is very hard, but there is a good way to memorize it. That is, oh my, such good apple pie. Oh my, such good apple pie. To help memorize this diacid's common name, and at this moment, you do need to know the first oxalic acid, malonic acid, and succinic acid. That is the end of this video.